Mr. Jones. I'm Quinn. This is Open Awareness Yoga, and today we are doing feet. And I'm super excited about that. So just a couple of things to get prepared in the beginning is you need props like normal. We'll start sitting in a chair so that it's easier to like reach and manipulate our feet, and that can just be your couch or something. You might be able to have the hip flexibility like this to mess with your feet on the floor, and if that's fine, you can sit on the floor. So you maybe need a chair. You'll need a yoga strap, yeah, or a towel or a bathrobe tie or something like this to reach your feet. You'll need a blanket or a bath towel. I know I'm really far away from the cameras today, my apologies. And you'll need either 2 yoga blocks or just a stack of hardback books. 2 is fine, yeah? And we're going to just get this ready. So grab your towel or your blanket, open it up. We're rolling it. Some of you already know what this is. You fold it in half once, and then let's, from the folded side, just start to make a roll in it, okay? And we won't use this right away. We'll use it in a bit. So just set it aside. Set it somewhere where you can reach. Yeah, and so if you would like, well, actually, not if you would like, just go ahead and come to standing. We'll talk about Mr. Jones's foot in a moment, but first I want you to do an experiment. So if it's possible for you to stand on a hardwood floor, not on your mat, step off your mat. I'm on mine, and that's okay too. And then without much like ado, just stand evenly on both of your feet as best as possible and look down and notice your 2 feet. And notice if one foot looks different from the other, maybe it's more turned in or more turned out. Maybe it's rolling to the outer foot or the inner foot. Maybe they're both doing the exact same thing, in which case bonus points for symmetry, I guess. All right, and then look up. So your chin is parallel to the ground. You're no longer looking down at your feet, although we'll still be working with the feet. I want you to roll into the outer edges of both of your feet. So you lift up the inner edges and you're rolling the feet open. This is called supination. Now you can come back down, flat feet. Do that one more time. Roll the feet out, okay? And just notice what's going on at your lower legs, between the knees and the ankles. You'll notice that the lower legs between the knees and the ankles are externally rotating, so rotating away from center. You might also notice that the backs of your knees tighten, so the legs straighten a bit more. You might also notice that your sitting bones get a little closer together and your tail tucks under. You have a posterior tilt to your pelvis. All right, come back to normal, both feet flat on the ground. Kind of bounce your knees, shake it out if you felt weird there. And then we'll try the other way, all right? So roll into the inner edges of your feet. This is called pronation. So now that big toe side of the foot is pressing down, the outer edge is sort of lifting up. And you'll notice your knees probably knock in towards one another. Those lower legs rotate inward, in towards center. Your sitting bones move further apart. And your pelvis might rock slightly forward, an anterior tilt, which deepens the curve at the low back. And so come back to normal. All of this is just to prove to you how much the way you stand on your feet affects all the way up the chain of the body. Your knees, many people have knee problems. Your hips, many people have hip problems. And then that translates all the way up the spine to the shoulders and even in the jaw. All right, now you can come to sitting on your piece of furniture. I'll walk up a little closer to the screen and try and show you Mr. Jones's foot. So it's not the easiest to see here, but a little bit of anatomy education. Here, this is your shin bone. It is the tibia bone, and it goes down, so one you can feel on the front of your leg. It moves all the way down to the inner ankle. Then you have the fibula bone, which is behind it. It's the calf bone, all right? And then these 2 bones create the lower leg. They travel down and make the ankle by coming in contact with a bone called the talus, which is what the tibia and fibula rest on. The talus then transfers the weight of your leg to your heel. Most of the weight of your leg moves down to your heel bone. And then some of it moves forward into these bones here called tarsals. It's hard to see. They look like little river rocks. Okay, we're going to be exploring these in our own feet, and that's why I'm showing them to you. And then the tarsals grow into the metatarsals, which look like logs. And I'll be using the word metatarsals, so remember that one. And then those grow into the toes, the phalanges, okay? So we're going to be exploring our own feet. This is what they look like, sort of. Mr. Jones isn't very mobile. Our feet are much more mobile than his. So let's go ahead and find your way into a position where you can hold on to one of your feet. It doesn't matter which, we'll do both. And here, just hold on to your foot and use your hands to make circles at the ankle. You might even notice some of that supination and pronation that we started class with. And make circles the other way. So now we're not really using the muscles of the foot, we're using our hands manually moving our foot. Now hold on to your heel bone, that's the calcaneus. Try and keep that heel bone still, and then grab the top of your foot, where those river rocks are, all of the tarsal bones. And then see how much you can twist in towards the big toe and out towards the pinky toe, this area of bones. Because each of these bones in the foot move against one another. There's a ton of joints in here, and so there's some flexibility in the foot right at this place. And then now if we move the hand a little further down and hold the ball of the foot, so that's oftentimes we used to call the ball mound of the foot, beneath the big toe, beneath the pinky toe, this whole area here that you stand on your tiptoes on. Keep holding the heel still, and then twist this part of the foot. You might notice you get a little bit more movement here at the metatarsals. And the last thing we'll do here is place one of your hands, as best you can, on the tarsals, on those river rocks, the other hand on the logs, on your metatarsals, and twist them in opposite directions, like you're wringing a towel. And just notice how much mobility your foot has here. And if we go in shoes all the time, we're really locking the foot in place, and we're asking our shoes to do more of the balancing work for us. So today in class, we're going to be playing around with just how much the feet move and how much they work to balance us, to hold us in space, to create stability, and to create movement and propulsion. So let's change feet. Other foot. First, we just hold the foot in our hands and make circles. One direction. Try and soften and relax through the ankle. And then make circles in the other direction. We didn't start with any yogic breathing today. We're really doing more of a deep dive into the feet, but do breathe in and out through your nose if you can. All right, let's hold the heel still. And then with one hand, grab onto those tarsals, the river rocks, and just twist in and out, noticing how much mobility you have here. It's not a ton, but it's perceptible. And then move the hands down to the ball of the foot, and again, twist, feeling those metatarsals, the logs, twisting around one another. And then one hand on the tarsals, on that arch of the foot, the other hand on the metatarsals, the ball of the foot, and twist in opposite directions, like you're wringing a towel. I've got one more exercise here in the chair, and we'll manually spread the feet apart with the hands. Not everybody can lean down and reach their feet. It might help you to put a foot up on some of your books or a block here. Maybe sitting on the floor would help, and if you can't reach the feet, that's okay. Okay, just listen, and you might continue to give yourself some self-massage. So we'll start with one foot. Actually, let's place both feet on the floor and just take a look at them. Notice how they look, how they feel. And then you'll move one foot out of the way and reach down with your hands and grab the ball of the foot. So your fingers will touch right about the middle toes, thumbs on the top of the foot, okay? And then stand on your hands. And as you drag the hands out, right and left, you'll separate the metatarsals. So you widen the ball of the big toe and the ball of the pinky toe, all right? Now the foot's wider on the earth. From here, you'll start with the pinky toe and gently stretch the pinky toe out and gently twist it, and then spread it apart from the other toes and lie it down on the floor. You don't have to force it or overspread it, but we're stretching and manipulating the feet. And then move on, do every toe like this. You gently pull and twist and then place it down. You might be quite surprised at how cramped the toes are and how wide you can get them apart. especially if you're used to wearing shoes and you don't practice much yoga. My feet have changed completely from my yoga practice, from practicing things like this, okay? And now take a look at your foot, your creation, and place your other foot back next to it, and without having done any manual manipulation on your other foot, notice the difference. And even notice how much contact you have of the foot to the floor on the foot that you've just messed with. And we'll do the second side. So the first thing you do is stand on the feet, palms face up, fingers touch right beneath the center of the foot. And you place the foot down on the floor and then drag the hands out from underneath, widening the ball of the big toe mound and the pinky toe mound away from one another. Starting from the pinky toe, stretch and twist very gently, and then place it down. In this manner, spreading each of the toes one by one. When we're standing, we don't want the toes to bear too much weight. They're more like feelers that sense and make corrections in our bodies or our feet connected to the earth. And then take a look at both of your feet. Just feel, close your eyes, sit up straight, relax, and feel how your wide spread feet are connected into the earth. All right, open your eyes and you'll come down to the floor. Make sure that your strap is nearby. We'll eventually be using it. You'll lay with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. And if it's uncomfortable for your head on the floor, you can grab your blanket roll and place it underneath the head as a pillow. All right, toe heel the feet together so that the inner edges of your feet touch. You can feel the inner heel. There's like a mound, a bone there. That's actually at the base of your tibia bone, that shin bone that I showed you on Mr. Jones. All right, now that the inner edge of the tibia is touching, our feet are parallel with one another. So let's toe heel, feet and knees, hips width distance apart. And then bring the hands along the side of the body, palms face up, close your eyes. And now without the help of your hands, can you spread the ball of your feet wider? That is the space between the big toe and the pinky toe mound, the metatarsals. And can you lengthen and soften the toes? And then feel the weight in your heels, the mounds of your big toes, and the mounds of your pinky toes. Relax deep in your hip creases. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Let it out through the mouth. Another breath in, feet still spreading. Exhale through the mouth. Last one, inhale. Exhale and everything softens. Grab your strap. Loop it around the metatarsals, right? That's the ball of the foot. And then send whichever leg you're doing straight up to the sky. So here we still have the left foot flat on the ground, spreading into the earth. Look at your front of, or whichever foot's on the floor, I'm gonna call it your left foot. Look at the front of your right ankle, and can you soften the tendons on the front of that ankle to deepen the crease at the front ankle, which might stretch your calves and your hamstrings a little bit more. Now press up through the mounds of the big toe metatarsal, but keep that flexion at the ankle. And can you soften your toes as if you just lengthened and twisted them and then release them to the floor? You might stay here. You might already have a deep stretch on the back of your leg, or you might straighten your left leg down to the end of the mat. And then feel now the sole of the foot still spreading, toes widening. Now just in contact with the air. Breathe. If you'd like to pull your right leg a little closer in towards the chest, you can do so, but there's no need if you're getting a stretch. It's perfect. That's what we're here for, just prepping for the next shape we'll take. One more deep breath in and out. And then bend both of your feet and place them back on the floor. Toe heel your feet to touch, so the inner ankles touch the inner tibia, and then toe heel them back apart, hips width distance. Bring the left ball of the foot into the strap and extend the leg up into the sky. Keep the right foot down on the ground and feel the right ball of the foot spreading and the toes lengthening and softening. Now look up at your left front ankle. Soften the tendons on the left front ankle to deepen that crease. And then reach up with the ball mound of the big toe and let all of your toes lengthen and spread and soften. If you want to take this one step further, straighten your right leg down along the ground. Still feel both feet spreading and widening into the sky. And if you'd like to pull the left leg a little closer into the chest, only if you need it. Only if you need more sensation. Deep breaths in and out. Let's bend both of the knees and place the feet back on the floor. Set your strap aside. Hug the knees into the chest. And roll the ankles in one direction and the other. And then let the ankles go. Kind of kick your feet in space. Feel the feet flop off of the ankles. And then extend both of your legs up to the sky. So this can be quite difficult, especially if your hamstrings or your hip flexors are tight. You can keep the knees slightly bent here. And you might try playing around with bent knees and straight knees if you've got that mobility, because it will change the way that your ankles and your feet feel. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is point through the ankles. So point your toes up to the sky, flatten across the top of the ankle. This is actually called plantar flexion, but for ease, we'll call it pointing through the ankle. And now we'll flex through the ankle, technical term dorsiflexion, by pulling the top of your feet towards your face, and you create that 90-degree angle-ish in the top of the ankle. And point the feet. Point the ankles and flex the ankles. Point and flex. Point and flex. Point, stay. All right, so now keep the ankles pointed, but pull the toes back towards the face. So pull the toes back and spread the toes. Keep the ankles pointed, curl the toes in towards the bottom of the feet. Spread the toes, curl the toes. Continue. If you get a cramp in your feet or your lower legs, just rest. Find a comfortable position, take a few deep breaths, rejoin when you're ready. All right, next time you curl the toes, stay. Now flex back through the ankles and then spread the toes. Keep that flex, curl the toes, point the ankles, spread the toes. Flex the ankles, curl the toes, point the ankles, spread the toes. Flex the ankles, curl the toes, point the ankles, spread the toes, pull your knees into your chest, kick your feet out a little bit, take a breath and rest. And now send your legs right back up to the sky. This time make a unileg if you can. Pull the inner edges of the feet together. Point through the ankles, and now make circles in one direction with both feet, like they're a unifoot up there. Get your toes involved. So curl the toes as the ankle is pointing, spread the toes as the ankle is flexing. One more time in this direction. Don't forget to breathe and change direction. Soften your jaw, your throat, your shoulders. Get as much movement in your feet as you can. Sore, feels weird, working the ankles and the feet down into the lower legs. That's okay. Bend the knees into the chest. Kick the ankles out a little bit and take a few breaths. All right, either roll to one side and sit up or rock and roll yourself up to seated. And we'll come onto hands and knees. for a broken toe pose. We've done this one before in class. You start by curling the toes under, so the ankle is flexed, the toes are spread, using the terminology we've been working with. And we begin to sit the hips back onto the heels. Okay, this might be enough for you. And here you can reach back and again, manually spread the toes apart from one another and try to get the metatarsals, the balls of the feet, down on the ground. This is nearly impossible on my feet. For you, it might be easier. Make space between each toe, and this might be enough. If you're not feeling much of anything in the balls of the feet, then walk your hands up onto your thighs, bring your shoulders over your hips, and for even more, you can place the hands on the head. So we're just driving more of our body's weight down onto the feet as the toes spread into the earth. Take a few deep breaths, take as many breaks as you need to. You can always come forward and come out of this. It can be quite challenging, especially if you don't practice it. If you do practice, you'll be shocked at how much less challenging it gets, how the practice actually does help. Try to soften through the creases of the hips and relax everything in the body. Don't hold the tension somewhere else when you're trying to remove the tension. And then we'll come out of this. Come onto hands and knees, point back through the tops of the feet, and then tap, tap, tap the tops of the feet down on the ground. Okay, here we'll come back to sit on the tops of the feet, butt sits on the heels. If this doesn't work for you, grab your books or your blocks, slide it underneath your hips, and come to sit down. We won't be here for very long. We're just countering that deep flexion with the point of the ankles. All right, if you don't feel much of anything, you can bring the hands behind you and lift the knees up off the ground, stretching a little deeper into the tops of the ankles. And then bring the hands forward. We'll step back into plank. So stretch your legs back long. Now the ankle is flexed. There's a crease right at the toes where we are just working in broken toe pose. Press down through both of your palms. Draw the shoulders down the back towards the hips. Hug your belly in towards the spine. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up high to the sky. Drop the heels down towards the ground. They might not reach, and that's okay. And now, pressing from your metatarsals, start a shift back into plank from your toes. So press down through the toes, feel that energy ripple up through the body and then down into the hands. Press down into the palms to come back up into downward facing dog and pay attention to the movement of your feet. Inhale forward, pushing into the toes, coming into your plank pose. Exhale back, downward dog. Take a look back at your feet, even them out. Make sure that the ball of the foot is spreading wide, the toes are lengthening and spreading, and then the toes are soft on the floor. Press through the metatarsals, shift yourself forward into plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, walk your feet forward to the hands. If your fingers don't reach the ground, you might grab your books, place your hands on your books or your blocks, and you can also bend your knees here. Hang your head down low. Feel the feet on the earth. Spread the metatarsals wide. You can even see the toes. Are they gripping the earth? Can you soften them? Now press down through the feet and slowly roll up through the spine. Breathing in and out as you go. Now we're into Dasana mountain pose. Take a look down at your feet. They should be even. You've already been looking at them. Feet are hips width distance apart. Here, roll the shoulders back and line the shoulders up right over the hips, and then close your eyes. And think back to those lower leg bones. The tibia, your shin bone, is the most vertical bone in the body in this standing position, and it transfers the weight of the legs directly down into the talus, into the top of the ankle. And can you feel that weight being transferred from the ankle down and back through the heel, and from the ankle forward through those river rocks, through the tarsals, into the metatarsals and the balls of the feet? And can you feel the full weight of each of your toes on the ground so that the toes aren't holding your weight? They're softening, they're relaxed, they're spreading on the earth. Notice if you're locking through your knees. If that's you, relax the backs of your knees. And we'll move into Surya Namaskar A, just 2 rounds. Feel your feet, stay connected to your feet this entire time, okay? Inhale from the feet, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, ground through the feet and hinge at your hips to fold forward into your Uttanasana. Hands on the outer shins. Inhale, come up halfway. Spine grows long, sternum reaches forward. Exhale, plank pose. Notice how your feet go along for the ride. Feel them on the earth. Lower your knees down to the ground. Look forward of your fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, bend your elbows to lower all the way down to the earth. Point back through the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift your chest, baby cobra. Curl your toes under, hug the belly into the spine. Exhale, press up, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, walk your feet forward to the hands, fold down and in. Hands to the shins, connect into your feet. Inhale, come up halfway. Soften your toes. Exhale, fold all the way down. Pressing down into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Bring the arms overhead. And exhale, release your hands down by the sides of the body. Good. One more time. Connect to those feet. Spread the soles of the feet wide. Soften your toes. Feel the weight in the heels, the balls of the big toes and the balls of the pinky toes. Inhale, lift the arms overhead, not forgetting connection to the earth. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plank pose. Bring your knees down to the ground. Hug your belly into the spine. Use an exhale breath to lower all the way down. Point through the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift your heart, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay here. Look at your feet, line up the toes. Release and soften the tendons at the front of the ankles to deepen the crease in the fronts of your ankles. Shift your weight into your broad left foot. Inhale, lift the right leg straight up behind you for a 3-legged dog. As you exhale, bend your knee, pull it into the chest. Shift your shoulders forward over your wrists and swing your foot between your hands. You can help yourself to get here. Then lower the left knee down to the ground. Walk it forward a couple inches and reach your right knee in front of the ankle, moving in front of the toes. So here we're working on a stretch through the back of the right leg, through the Achilles tendon. Again, soften the front of the right ankle crease to deepen the crease. Drop the heel towards the ground. Make sure that heel is grounded, so you feel the heel on the earth. Press down through your metatarsals and vigorously lift up your toes. Do the best you can. We're stretching the bottom of the feet here. Breathe in. Toes still lifting. Breathe out. Release the toes. Plant your hands and curl your left toes under. Lift the left knee off the ground. Press down into your hands. Pull the shoulder blades away from the spine. And then step back, downward facing dog. You can rest in a child's pose anytime that you need, or take a few breaths here in your downward facing dog. Even out the feet. Spread the balls of the feet wide. Lengthen and soften your toes. From downward facing dog, first, just mentally shift your weight into your right, flat, broad foot. And then inhale, lift the left leg up and back behind you, 3-legged dog. Bend your left knee, pull the knee into the chest, shift your shoulders over your wrists, and step the left foot forward between the hands. Lower your right knee down to the ground, and then step it forward a couple inches to bring that left knee over the toes. Keep the left heel grounded, stretch through the back of the left leg. Soften the tendons in the front of the left ankle to deepen that crease. Now, metatarsals and heel are grounded. Vigorously lift the left toes up off the ground, stretching the sole of the left foot. Breathe. All right, plant your hands, curl your right toes under, lift the knee off the ground. Press down into the palms, hug the belly, and step back. Downward facing dog. Inhale here. And exhale, walk your feet forward to your hands. Press down into your feet, inhale, roll all the way up to standing. And here we'll find the blanket roll that you made and place it on the mat. You'll also need your yoga blocks or your books for this, one for each hand, or if you only have one block, you can probably just use one. Here we stand the toes up on the blanket roll, heels are on the ground. Feet hips width distance apart or wider if you're quite tight in the backs of your legs. Bend the knees slightly, hinge at the hips, and bring your books down to the ground. Now you might not need the books, you might be able to reach all the way down to the earth. With the toes lifted like this, we're getting a deeper stretch into the calves, okay? If you don't feel much of anything, you can always take your blanket, make it bigger by bending it in half, and again, stepping the toes up onto the blanket. So the metatarsals are on the blanket, heels are on the ground. And breathe. You can bend the knees, play around with how that changes the shape. And don't let your knees knock in together unless the feet are touching. So keep the knees in line with the second toe. Close your eyes and bring your mind to your calves, so the backs of the shins. You've got two different calf muscles, the gastrocs, which are the shapely part of the calves that you see well defined in runners. And then beneath the gastrocs, so closer to the front of the body, is the soleus muscle, which is broad and flat. Can you release the gastrocs, the outer calves, from the backs of the knees down to the heels? And can you feel how that changes the sensation in your ankle? Maybe, maybe not, and that's okay. And here's something funky. Can you release the soleus deep to the gastrocs from the ankles up to the backs of the knees? And if this is confusing you, that's okay. It might be all new to you. You don't have to get it all at once. Mostly I'm just trying to entertain you in what can be a doozy of a stretch. All right, so make sure your hands are supported by something and step off of your blanket. Bend your knees deeply and roll up through the spine. Nice. All right, we're coming to standing again. So stand with your feet either together or hips width distance apart. Take a look down at your feet. Make your toes even as if they were touching the wall, the big toes. Yeah, and then spread the soles of the feet as we've been doing. Lengthen the toes and settle them softly on the ground. Feel the weight of the lower legs transfer down through the ankle into the heels and into those river rocks, the tarsals, and into the ball mound of the big toe and pinky toe from there. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. Really reach up with the arms, straighten through the triceps. The arms will help lift the side waist and lift your weight off the legs. And as you exhale, bend your knees, coming down into a chair pose. Now, if your feet are together, the knees are touching, but if your feet aren't together, the knees aren't touching. They're in line with the center of the feet. Shift your weight back so you feel more weight in your heels now, but keep spreading and softening the toes. Here, with the lower legs bent, the ankles are more stable, locked, if you will. Now, slowly straighten the legs. Leave the arms up if you can. You can also release them to the hips. We're coming up on tippy toes next. Reach up with the fingertips and come up onto your toes, like a calf raise. The heels will move slightly in. Think about that crease of the toes that we worked in broken toe pose at the beginning. Can you sink the toe crease down into the ground? And does that help you feel more balanced, more grounded? Here with the feet in this orientation, the ankles are less stable, as you probably can tell. So we'll slowly lower the heels down to the ground and then melt into your chair pose, bending through your knees. Feel the difference in the ankles, locked, ready to go. And slowly straighten through the knees. Come up onto your toes. Sink the toe creases down into the earth. Last time, lower the heels. Bend your knees. Weight in the heels. Toes are light. Straighten your knees and come up onto your toes. Stay here. Keep the arms lifted if you can. Sink the toe crease down into the earth. And on tippy toes, can you bend your knees into a chair pose? Keep the heels high over the toes, deepening the crease of the toes. A lot of ankle work. I'm about to fall. And straighten through the knees, lower through the heels, and finally, release your arms. Very nice. Step your feet apart wide and bring your hands to your hips to start. Angle your left toes in slightly and then turn the entire right leg out so the toes face the short side of your mat. Inhale here. Exhale, stay, because we're going to talk about the foot. So that left foot that you've got behind you, I want you to really press into the pinky toe side of the foot. So feel the pinky toe side of the foot grounded. You'll feel your inner arch lifting and the inner ankle move towards the outer ankle, or the fibula move towards the tibia. Press down into the heel while you're grounding this knife edge of the foot. Keep that going. Okay, keep your mind in the left foot and bend the right knee. Don't bend the knee so much that left foot comes off the ground, all right? We want to keep the outer edge pressing down. Inhale, lift the arms out to the side. Exhale, stay. As you inhale, reach the right fingertips forward, bring the right elbow to the thigh, sweep the left arm overhead, and are you still pressing down through the knife edge of the left foot? Do it now. Inhale, come back up to warrior two. Straighten your right knee, hands to the hips, and parallel your feet. Now the right toes angle in, left toes turn out from the hip socket. The entire leg turns out. Press down into the knife edge of the right foot, lift the inner arch, move the inner right ankle towards the outer ankle and feel the heel grounded. From there, bend into your left knee. Keep that connection to the earth from the right leg. Inhale, lift your arms out to a T. Next inhale, breath, reach the left fingertips forward, left elbow to the thigh, swing the right arm up and overhead. Keep pressing down through the right knife edge of the foot, working that ankle in so many beautiful directions. Inhale, come back up to warrior two. Straighten the left leg, hands come to the hips, parallel the feet. Nice, and then toe heel the feet, back hips with distance apart or together. Now we'll work on some balancing poses with our new broad toned feet. So if your blocks or your books are about the size of your foot, I'm going to ask you to stand on them. So just make sure that if you've got book covers that you don't want to mess up or that are slippery, you take them off. And then let's stand just the left foot on the books. Right toes can be on the floor. If you need some help with balance, make sure you're close to a wall or something, a piece of furniture that can support you, because it's more important we feel the feet than really stick the balance, and we definitely don't want to fall. All right, so the left foot is the one that will be holding us in a moment. Spread the sole, especially the metatarsals of the left foot from big toe to pinky toe, and lengthen and soften the toes. Okay, feel that wide yoga foot, look up, and don't look at the foot, chin parallel to the floor, and then hover the right leg, right foot off the ground. So we're balancing just on that left leg. And can you feel how your foot is working, how it's rolling in and out and adjusting to support you here in your balance? Remember when we twisted the foot in two different directions? Can you see how that's working for you here as you balance on one leg? And can you think every step you take, you balance on one leg for a while, and if you're barefoot, your foot is meant to be working like this, keeping the feet healthy. Now, if you want an extra challenge, you might close your eyes and see how much more difficult it is to balance without the visual aid. You can always open your eyes. Your leg might be getting sore by now. Doesn't seem like we're doing much. And we'll change sides. So step down and switch. Right foot on the books or your block, and first we prepare the foot. So just spread it. Spread the metatarsals. Lengthen, spread, and then soften the toes and feel connected down through the 3 points of the foot, big toe mound, pinky toe mound, and heel. When you're ready, take the left foot off the ground. And again, notice how your right foot is working to keep you balanced here in space. Now, this just goes to show that true balance, which our feet are teaching us right now, is never still. You know, it's never something that we get to. I want a balanced life, and I'm there now, and I'm there forever, and I'm rigid and I'm stuck because I don't want to be unbalanced. No, balance is millions of tiny little micro adjustments and wiggles. So we want that flexibility, we want that movement in order to maintain balance. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Try that out. Let our feet teach us these life lessons. Notice if your toes are gripping, soften them, and then come out of this. All right, we'll set the books aside and we'll find a tree pose. This is the more traditional yoga shape of Vrikshasana. Feet can be together, hips width distance as usual. And let's first be very mindful with spreading the soles of the feet and lengthening and softening the toes. All right, bring your hands to your heart, palms touch. And we'll start by balancing on the left leg. So mentally shift your weight into the left leg so that the right foot gets light on the ground. And then turn the right knee out and place the sole of the right foot either at the ankle or up and towards the inner groin. And just notice what's going on with that left foot. Perhaps it's easier to balance today. Maybe not. And then notice to the right foot. Are your toes gripping? Can you soften them? Can you spread through the soles of both feet? Maybe lifting your arms up and overhead. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bring your hands back to your heart. Release the right leg. Kind of flop the left ankle around. Shake it out. And we'll do the second side. Don't rush there. First, spread the feet. Soften the toes. Mentally shift your weight into the right foot. Feel the left foot get light. And then turn the left knee out and place the foot along the ankle or up into the groin. Now feel how you're connected into the earth through that right foot. Soften through your toes. Breathe. If you'd like to, bring the arms overhead. And we didn't on the other side, but maybe try closing your eyes. You don't see me falling over, which means I'm not closing my eyes. One more deep breath in. Bring the hands to the heart and release. Shake it out. Nice. So now we'll come down to the ground. Some of you might like to sit up on something, either your books or your blanket. We'll take a butterfly pose with a little special toe thing if you want. So the soles of the feet come together, knees open wide. Sit up as high as you need to so you feel a lift and extension from your low back. So we're not rounding through the low spine, but we're lifting up through the low spine. Now you're okay just sitting here and working on opening the knees down towards the ground, lifting the heart. But if you want to try something kind of fun, that's a foot exercise, we're going to weave the toes together, okay? So it's going to be hard for you to see because I'm so far away from the camera, but it's like you're interlacing your fingers, right? You interlace the toes. So try that now. It might be very shocking how difficult it is to make space between the toes. But try to get the toes all the way down into the root of the space between the other foot. And if you've had your pedicure done, you might have had that thing in between your toes. It's kind of like that here, except with your own toes. Just zippering them up. And once you've got them locked and you feel really silly, goofy, and weird, come back up to your butterfly pose. Maybe close the eyes. and just soften the feet. Breathe deep. All right, unzipper the feet. So weird. Bring your hands underneath your knees and pull your knees together. You will take one of two twists. So first let's start by lengthening the legs out long. You might still be sitting up on your books or you might be down on the ground. And then take your right knee, bend it, and place the right foot flat on the floor. As far out as you need to so that you can get the foot on the floor. And as we've been doing all class, spread the feet, spread the toes and soften them. And you can either stay here, or if it's possible for you, step that right foot across the left leg and plant it on the left side of the knee. And here you can see that the ankle is having to stretch further on the inner ankle than the outer ankle. And can you still plant the entire sole of that right foot on the ground? And if you can't, move it back over into that first position so that the whole foot can be planted. Now you can either stay here with the left leg straight, or you can bend the left leg, move the knee towards the center line of the body, and bring the left foot over to the right side of the hip. Two different twisting poses. Either way, you're going to twist to the right. Bring your right fingertips behind you. You can either hug on to your left knee or hook your elbow on the outer left knee. Whatever you're doing, keep that right foot planted on the floor. Feel the metatarsals spread and the toes soften. Feel the connection into the earth and feel the earth lifting back up into your foot. Roll the right shoulder back. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, soften the belly. Twist the navel from left to right. One more full breath here, in and out. Stay connected into that right foot. We twist back to center and unwind. Bring both of the legs back out in front of you. We'll go step by step into the other side. So this first pose option is called Murchiasana. Bend in the left knee, place the foot on the floor. And if this is where we need to be today, stay here. Or step the left foot across the right and plant the foot flat. Try to get the toes to face straight ahead. And just notice that intricacy. Notice what your ankle and your foot can do for you. This is why we need to practice, or at least be barefoot sometime in our life, out of shoes. All right, so you can stay here. We're moving into Ardha Matsyendrasana. You can bend the right knee, bring the knee to the center. Right foot scoots to the outer left hip. And everybody twist to your left. Bring your left fingertips behind you. Step one is to hug the left knee. If you're moving on, step two is to hook the elbow on the outer left knee. Keep the left foot grounded. Brain in the left foot. Roll the left shoulder back. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale, soften through the belly and twist the navel from right to left. Keep grounding through your left foot. One more breath here. And come back to center. Bring your hands behind you. And come to lying down on your back. Actually, first, if you've got your books or your block is best for this, but books can approximate. You'll put the long way, so you notice where the books are going. The spine is facing the camera. That means it's facing the side of your body. Between the feet. All right, so the outer edges of the book or the block are touching the inner edges of the feet. The feet are kept about hip width distance apart unless you've got some like fancy books. All right, and then we come to lay down on the back. And you'll have to scoot the hips so that they're a comfortable distance away from the heels this time. Palms face down, right alongside the outer hips. Or if your arms are long, they'll be past the hips. Roll your shoulders underneath you. And before we do anything, yep, you got it, spread the feet. So we've been here before in the beginning of class, after you manually spread your own feet and you felt the metatarsals from big toe mound to pinky toe mound spreading, the toes lengthening and softening, the full weight of the toes on the earth. And feel the weight in the big toe mound, the heel, and the pinky toe mound. Now here's where it can get tricky for people. People tend to want to roll to the outer foot when you lift up into bridge pose, so don't do that. Keep the weight even in the inner foot and the outer foot. Take an inhale breath, exhale, and next inhale breath, lift the hips. Draw the knees forward over the toes. Maybe roll the shoulders further underneath you and interlace your fingers underneath your hips. That's optional. Notice your feet. Find the foot we've been working with. Think about how feet affect knees and hips and therefore the spine, the shoulders, the jaw. Release the hands and slowly roll down to the ground. Kick those books off the side of your mat, get them out of the way, and pull your knees into your chest. Kick your feet a little bit so the ankles just flop, maybe even side to side, wiggle them, waggle them. Let them go. And then bring the arms out to a T, palms face up, knees still into the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, drop your knees over to the right. If your left shoulder stays grounded, turn to look over your left shoulder. If your left shoulder is lifting up, draw it down towards the ground. Keep your head looking straight up at the sky. Hug the navel into the spine. Inhale, bring the knees back to center. And exhale, drop the knees over to the left. If the right shoulder is still on the ground, look over the right shoulder. And breathe. Hug the navel into the spine. Pull the knees back into the chest. Give yourself a final squeeze, and if there's anything that you want to stretch or want to do here while you're in your clothes on the floor, you have time. You can go ahead and do that. We're pretty focused today on the feet, and so there might be an area of the body you just feel like needs opening, and you can go for it. And if you're ready, we'll find a Shavasana. So stretch your legs out long to the end of your mat. Heels wider than the hips. And let the feet just flop, whichever direction they fall. Bring the arms down along the side of the body. Palms face up. And roll your shoulders underneath you to flatten the shoulder blades on the earth. And just notice the back of your ankle. Maybe it could feel good to reach the heels further away from you to stretch the back of the ankle and then let the feet and ankles relax again. Close the eyes. Feel the body relaxing heavy down into the earth. And bring to mind a dandelion. You know, those weeds that grow and when they turn to seed become little puff balls that you might blow and make a wish on. And the dandelion seeds blow into the air. Imagine that your toes are like those dandelion seeds. And feel them just float off the feet and into the air. And connect your mind to what you sense as the center of the sole of your foot. And imagine there's a straw that moves from the sole of your foot up your legs into your hips, joining at the navel. Can you feel your breath traveling up that straw and then spreading through the body? And you can rest here in Shavasana as long as you like. And when you're ready, very slowly return back to your day with a little bit more awareness of your feet as you walk around the house, as you bend and move and shift your weight side to side. See what else you can pick up about your experience. Maybe go without shoes or slippers, if that's okay in your body. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. Please ask them. We'll have a gentle yoga class this Thursday, also on YouTube. And a big surprise coming out tomorrow. So check your inbox if you're on my newsletter, and check Instagram if you're not. I'm excited to share. I bring my hands together at my heart, bow my head to you, to my practice, to yoga, to the teachers before me, and to India, from where the practice came. Thank you. Bye.